Join me as I dive into Trump's biggest epic fails and see if I can pinpoint every moment that led to his total collapse. From controversies to policy failures, Trump's presidency was marred by a series of epic fails that ultimately led to a perceived total collapse of his administration. But what exactly went wrong? And how did these failures snowball into the perfect storm that would eventually bring down his presidency? To understand the scope of Trump's failures, we need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. From the moment he took office, Trump faced an uphill battle, with controversy and scandal dogging him every step of the way. Despite his campaign promises to drain the swamp and bring about real change, Trump's administration was plagued by corruption and incompetence from the very start. And as the months went by, things only got worse. Fast forward to today, and it's clear that Trump's presidency was marked by a series of catastrophic failures that ultimately led to his downfall. But what were some of the key moments that contributed to this collapse? One of the central challenges faced by Trump's presidency was the controversy surrounding his campaign's alleged ties to Russia. From the get-go, Trump's administration was dogged by allegations of collusion and obstruction of justice, which would eventually lead to the Mueller investigation. Another major challenge faced by Trump was his policy failures, particularly when it came to health care. His botched attempt to repeal and replace Obamacare was a devastating blow to his administration, and one that would have far-reaching consequences. Trump's presidency was also marred by a series of public perception issues, from his controversial Twitter rants to his divisive rhetoric on race and immigration. And let's not forget the infamous border wall, which would become a symbol of his administration's failed promises. As we delve deeper into Trump's presidency, it's clear that these challenges were just the tip of the iceberg. From his disastrous handling of Hurricane Maria to his failed trade wars, Trump's administration was marked by a series of catastrophic failures that would ultimately lead to his downfall. One of the most significant failures of Trump's presidency was his inability to get his own party on board with his agenda. Time and time again, he faced opposition from Republicans in Congress, which made it impossible for him to pass any meaningful legislation. And then there was the issue of Trump's own ego, which would often get in the way of his decision-making. From his infamous feud with the NFL to his bizarre Twitter rants, Trump's presidency was marked by a series of unnecessary controversies that only served to distract from the real issues. Trump's administration was also plagued by a series of high-profile resignations and firings, which would eventually lead to a brain drain in the White House. From James Comey to John Kelly, Trump's top advisors were jumping ship left and right, leaving him increasingly isolated and alone. As the months went by, Trump's failures began to snowball into a perfect storm that would eventually bring down his presidency. From his disastrous handling of the COVID-19 pandemic to his failed attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 election, Trump's administration was marked by a series of catastrophic failures that would ultimately lead to his downfall. But was there a pivotal moment that encapsulates Trump's failures and marks a turning point in his presidency? For many, it was his infamous Charlottesville speech, in which he infamously equated neo-Nazis with anti-fascist protesters. Or was it his disastrous Helsinki summit with Vladimir Putin, in which he appeared to side with the Russian president over his own intelligence agencies? Whatever the moment, it's clear that Trump's presidency was marked by a series of failures that ultimately led to his downfall. As we look back on Trump's presidency, it's clear that his failures were not just a series of isolated incidents, but rather a symptom of a broader problem. From his divisive rhetoric to his catastrophic policy failures, Trump's presidency was marked by a series of epic fails that ultimately led to his total collapse. In the end, Trump's presidency was a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of holding our elected officials accountable. So what did we learn from Trump's epic fails, and how can we apply those lessons to the future? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share your thoughts on Trump's presidency in the comments below. If you want to dive deeper into the implications of Trump's failures, be sure to check out our latest video on the topic.